Khayelihle Khumalo joining me now and on standby in the build-up. Kaya, we are about half an hour and just a bit before we get to the business end of this year's Nelson Mandela Lecture. Tell me who is in attendance and what are some of the conversations that are coming to the fore ahead of this lecture?
Well, essentially, Tila Caesar is packed to the rafters here at the Centre City. So you can really see there's a great deal of interest here where so many South Africans from all walks of life are yearning to hear from Dr. Albanese in terms of her key message. As you know, it is a flagship program for the Nelson Mandela Foundation. It's all about stimulating conversation, especially on very thought-provoking issues. Tila Caesar, we know that South Africa really has been at the forefront when it comes to really highlighting the current situation in the Middle East and in Gaza to be specific. But really just to look at some of the key issues we can expect to join by Dr. Samaya Hendricks. She's the head of the dialogue and advocacy at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. So Dr. Hendricks, I mean, we can see the multitude of people showing their interest in this dialogue. What can we expect come 3 o'clock?
As you said, incredible interest in this lecture. As you know, we've had to change venues. There's 3,000 people strong. The theme is enhancing peace and global cooperation. So we suspect that she will speak to a lot to obviously her work that she does on a daily basis about Palestine, but also using that lens to talk about a more global, the global change and the kind of global cooperation that we need in the world.
And obviously, Dr. Hendricks, I mean, I look at her profile. She's a human rights lawyer and author, but of course, that all-important position as a special rapporteur on the Occupied Palestinian Territories. And I think I was looking at your CEO saying that she fits the tribute. I mean, given what she's facing, the sanctions coming from the US, and really amplifying that very all-important message about what's currently happening in the Middle East.
Yes, look, we decided to have her as a speaker even before the sanctions, and the reason why is because of what she stands for and the kind of value that we think she'll be able to bring to the theme. And so for us, we think that there is a real force behind her. There are a lot of people that believe in what she says, really advocate what she says, and I think people really resonate with the spotlight that she's placing on Palestine.
And just before I let you go, Dr. Hendricks, I would imagine this is also about sustaining the legacy of Madiba. This was a man who was passionate about having conversations, having led precarious negotiations, eventually becoming South Africa's first democratically elected president, but also even in the continent, playing such a very big role in terms of conflict resolutions, and also just reflecting on some of the past luminaries that you've had as speakers, the likes of former US President Barack Obama, Malala Yousafzai, and many other prominent people as well.
Yeah. Nelson Mandela Foundation, not only the lecture that established the lecture, but even the purpose of the foundation itself is really to champion difficult conversations, to think about where is it that we need to play a role, as you said, not only in Palestine but also on the African continent. And that's also the work that the foundation is doing, is really thinking about on the continent what role can we play. And although Palestine is a revealer for settler colonialism, apartheid, and the kind of things that need to change, we know that it's not the only place in the world that's suffering from conflict, and us, like many organizations, are dedicating themselves in particularly in the footsteps of Madiba and with that legacy in mind.
Right. Dr. Hendricks, thank you so much indeed for your time, and thank you so much for your patience. So Tila Caesar, really just to give you a snapshot of what lies ahead here. So I can see so many South Africans, whether you're talking about the politicians, whether you're talking about the diplomats, whether you're talking about the public servants, and so many South Africans who are really looking forward to this particular lecture here at the Centre Convention Center, because they were supposed to use Linda Auditorium adverts, but Tila Caesar, there has been such a very unprecedented demand, so hence right here at the Centre Convention Center. So with that, back to you in studio.
Yeah. Kaya, before you go, just from what we are seeing in those visuals, it is quite clear that the issues in Palestine are going to be front and center, right? Given Francesca Albanese's role as the UN Special Rapporteur on the Occupied Palestinian Territories, and you're seeing there inside the venue the kind of audience that she will have as she delivers. It conduces for these issues to be placed front and center, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely, Tillerson, especially because we've seen the ceasefire that has been brokered by the United States of America, working with the likes of Qatar and Egypt and many other states, really. But a very shaky ceasefire, because every so often you do hear of the violations of this particular ceasefire. But a very big issue, Tillerson, has to be this global wave that is really emerging, where we're seeing so many countries pledging solidarity, recognizing the state of Palestine. I mean, you reflect to the recent United Nations General Assembly, with so quite rare moments where a number of countries, where they never in their wildest dream imagined that they will recognize the state of Palestine, and they certainly did that. And where we're positioned, Tillerson, I mean, there's a massive exhibition here showcasing the work of the foundation, especially the role of Nelson Mandela as a friend of Palestine. Tillerson, I mean, you go back to those remarks that he made, saying that South Africa can never say that it's free until Palestine is free. So certainly we'll be posted here throughout the afternoon, and we'll really keep you posted during the course of the day.
All right, Kaya, thank you for that. The build-up continues. That lecture will be delivered this afternoon by Francesca Albanese, and that's coming up, and you can catch it all here on SABC News.